Starting from the night of September 11th, there were unidentified flying objects spotted in Tianjin for 3 consecutive nights. These incidents affected flight operations at Tianjin International Airport, impacting thousands of passengers. According to China's official statement, these were drone intrusions. However, many people doubt this explanation, questioning if these objects were UFOs, as drones usually cannot fly for 10 hours. The incident on the night of September 11th at Tianjin Binhai Airport has been dubbed the Tianjin 9/11 incident. On the night of September 11th, without any unusual weather conditions, Tianjin Binhai Airport activated a yellow-level emergency response plan and canceled all flights, effectively closing the airport. From around 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., 29 flights were delayed, 8 were canceled, and 32 had to land at other airports. Some flights circled above the airport dozens of times but couldn't land, affecting more than 3,000 passengers. One flight was supposed to land in Tianjin but couldn't. It circled the airport 13 times before being diverted to Beijing Daxing Airport. The reason given was that a drone was flying above, preventing safe landing. In the past, drones have disrupted airport operations, but this time was different and more serious. On the night of September 12th, despite increased security measures at the airport and by the police, the drone appeared again, causing multiple flights to circle and being unable to land at Tianjin Binhai Airport. On the night of September 13th, there were more unidentified objects in Tianjin, with several glowing objects moving in the sky. Witnesses said sometimes there were 4, sometimes 5. On September 14th, reports emerged that drones also disrupted Chuzhou Airport in Zhejiang, causing several flights to be cancelled. Chuzhou Airport is a military civilian airport and an important base for the PLA Air Force along the coast of the East China Sea. When civilian flights take off or land there, passengers are usually required to keep window shades down and are not allowed to take photos. In the early morning of September 14th at 5:25 a.m., residents in multiple areas of Beijing saw a large glowing object in the sky, rotating over a wide area.
What's flying over here? Just now there was only one, but now there are 3. What is this thing?
On the evening of September 14th at 6 p.m., a Beijing resident captured footage of an unidentified flying object moving from east to west. Initially, it appeared as a misty light with a large halo on the east side. It made no sound and gradually dispersed into 3 glowing spheres. Another person near the North Fifth Ring Road in Beijing also saw a mysterious halo in the sky. In the video, they mentioned, "I got up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and looked outside. I saw a strange bright light. At first, I thought it was a commercial spotlight, but this mysterious light covered a wide area with no pattern. At one point, multiple beams of light suddenly appeared, rotated across the sky, and then vanished." One person commented, "Last night it was as bright as daylight outside my home, but the sky was full of dark clouds. How could it be so bright like it was 6 p.m.? It's really strange." Footage showed the sky over Beijing filled with glowing objects, raising curiosity about what these glowing entities could be. Regarding the incident at Tianjin Airport, the strange thing is that the supposed drones faced almost no effective countermeasures. Drone jamming guns, usually regarded as airport defenders, seemed useless this time. Many questioned why these drones weren't just shot down. How could a small civilian drone cause Tianjin Airport to close for nearly 10 hours? In 2022, a drone also appeared over Shenyang Airport, but the airport staff quickly brought it down in just a few minutes, with no major impact on flights. With China's surveillance technology, finding the person behind the drone isn't supposed to be difficult, so why did these incidents continue for several days? The videos online showed various shapes of these unidentified flying objects. Some were round, some were triangular, and some had flashing lights, and others had visible fire engines. Many people doubted the official explanation that they were merely drones. They raised several questions. First, civilian drones usually have a maximum flight time of around 30 minutes and a flight altitude limit of 500 meters. The drones over the Tianjin airport far exceeded these capabilities in terms of endurance, speed, and altitude. Second, Airports have electronic fencing technology, preventing drones from taking off near the area. Civilian drones come with pre-programmed no-fly zones, making it impossible for operators to fly them into such areas. Third, airports have devices to interfere with drone signals. Once detected, a drone should be intercepted or shot down by electronic jamming guns. For these reasons, many found it hard to believe that they were just regular drones. Civilian drones are small and light, but if they collide with a plane in flight, it can lead to a fatal accident. That's why drones are banned around airports. Some analysts believe that this incident was a deliberate intrusion. A social media user named Captain Xinghai shared details, stating that special police deployed radar and jamming vehicles but couldn't suppress the invading drones. So far, no suspected drone operators have been caught. Not only did these drones fly in restricted airspace, but they also ignored all countermeasures as if toying with the airport. They first appeared around 7 p.m. on September 11th, forcing the airport to shut down. At 10:20 p.m., the airport announced that neither visual nor radar observations detected any drones, allowing flights to resume after 40 minutes per regulations. However, around 11 p.m., drones reappeared on the east side of the airport. This caused the airport to remain closed until 6 a.m. the next day, totaling around 10 hours. This incident is far from simple. These drones flew in a no-fly zone and defied all jamming equipment, with a single battery usually lasting around 30 minutes, yet they persisted for 3 hours. On the night of September 12th, they returned despite the police being on high alert. This suggests a deliberate provocation rather than an accidental intrusion. These drones must have been modified to counter the airport's various defense measures. Captain Xinghai speculates that the drones in Tianjin might be the new wired control drones recently seen on the Russia-Ukraine battlefield. It's well known that the Russia-Ukraine conflict has become dominated by drones, with various FPV drones filling the sky. Both sides have been so fearful of drone attacks that they've welded iron grates onto tanks, and soldiers have even used fishing nets for protection. To counter drone attacks, both Russian and Ukrainian forces have procured drone jammers from an unknown country through various channels. These include portable backpack jammers, jamming guns, and jamming vehicles. As a result, drones that rely on 2.4G or 5.8G channels for remote control and image transmission are now at a significant risk. However, the new wire-controlled drones on the battlefield are different. They fly with a fiber optic cable, replacing remote control with fiber optic wired control. Although these drones have a short flight range of only 5 kilometers, they do not rely on wireless communication, making them immune to radio surveillance and interference, thereby avoiding most jamming methods. If these were indeed drones, it would be one of the most severe cases of deliberate interference with civil aviation in recent years, crossing from a public safety issue into national security. This drone incident in Tianjin has caused significant losses for the airlines. The worst affected flight on September 11th was the one traveling from Shenzhen to Tianjin. Just when passengers thought they would soon land, an announcement informed them of an unidentified flying object in the sky, causing panic. The plane circled Tianjin 6 times but couldn't land, eventually diverting to Beijing Daxing Airport. The airport tried to accommodate the passengers by arranging buses and hotels, but despite these efforts, many passengers were very upset. For the flights that were delayed, cancelled, or rerouted, airlines had to cover various costs, paying for ground fees, overtime for crew members, extra fuel consumption, and providing meals and accommodations for passengers. In total, each flight faced losses of at least $1 million. For more than 30 affected flights, the total loss could reach tens of millions. What was the purpose behind the drones invading Tianjin Airport? Online chat records suggest that those controlling the drones might be seeking revenge on certain individuals. A chat screenshot from Tianjin caught people's attention. It stated, "They intervened, blocking the outer ring road and searching each trunk for the remote control." This implies that authorities were conducting a thorough search to find the drone operators, even checking every car trunk. Someone commented, "Who would be dumb enough to keep the remote? They'd have thrown it into the river by now." Some independent media sources also noted that the Tianjin Binhai Airport is a significant location. Former Chinese President Hu Jintao developed the airport for military purposes in North China, easing Beijing's wartime difficulties. Tianjin Airport is under strict military management, making a drone intrusion seem unlikely. A well-known blogger, Long Ya, wrote, Those familiar with the aviation industry know that China's airspace is not just managed by the Civil Aviation Administration. Above it, there is the Air Force. The Air Force doesn't typically inform local aviation departments about real air conditions to protect military secrets. The closure of Tianjin Binhai Airport for public safety reasons over 2 days is most likely due to military reasons. Many people agreed with this analysis, but the post was quickly deleted by authorities. Veteran journalist Tang Junyuan told the media, "There are two possibilities. One is that people controlling these drones are highly skilled in evading detection. They know how law enforcement operates and may have prepared in advance to remain hidden for an extended period. Another possibility is that this incident involves internal CCP factions. High-ranking CCP officials' residences are well protected, with advanced surveillance surrounding them. It's unlikely that the suspects could hide without leaving any trace unless they had high-level support or inside connections." Tang added, "No matter the actual reason, the fact that these suspects haven't been caught reflects a reality. The CCP's judicial and public security agencies, which appear powerful with surveillance everywhere, are practically paralyzed and ineffective when it comes to protecting citizens' lives." Some witnesses believe this drone incident doesn't seem like an ordinary event. Many speculate that it wasn't drones at all, but possibly UFOs. Images circulating online show that these objects in Tianjin resemble the luminous, distant, and varying shapes seen in a similar incident in Hangzhou Xiaoshan Airport. The Xiaoshan Airport UFO incident occurred on the night of July 7, 2010. The incident at the Xiaoshan Airport in 2010 led to an emergency airport shutdown and widespread flight delays. Witnesses at the time described seeing a large white UFO in the sky. Despite it being nighttime, the area suddenly became as bright as day, illuminating at least a few hundred meters around. It was so bright that everything was clearly visible. The UFO moved rapidly across the sky, giving the impression of conducting a ground scan. After a while, it appeared as if the sky cracked open, and the object quickly vanished. News of the Xiaoshan Airport UFO quickly spread online. Even 14 years later, the incident remains unresolved with no clear explanation. Recently, several people who experienced the Xiaoshan incident shared their accounts online. One person wrote, "Apart from the pilots, no one knows the incident better than I do. I was a crane operator, working overtime to lift materials when it happened. The crane was over 150 meters high. That thing was definitely not man-made. Unfortunately, I forgot to take my phone with me to capture it." Another person shared, "I was fortunate to be there, staying for more than 10 minutes in the waiting hall under the UFO before staff escorted us away. At first, I thought it was a military aircraft. It felt strange. I had the sensation of my legs wanting to float, like the resistance you feel when standing in the ocean." Someone else recounted, "My dad and I were there when it happened. I was just over 10 years old at that time. My dad had a DSLR camera and took some photos. He showed them to his company leaders, and one of them reported it. The military police then took the camera and asked how much it cost. They gave us 7,000 yuan in cash, and the camera was confiscated."